So guess what? I sort of went and spent $300 at Tackle Warehouse. I think we can all relate to that. There's no point in me buying stuff unless I like show you and tell you about it. And I kind of went on a tangent, dude. So stay tuned. You guys are going to enjoy this. And I'm giving something away. You know, I get something, you get something, we all get something, everybody's happy. Want to learn about this kind of technique, and I think you're going to find it really cool. Stay tuned for this video. You're going to enjoy it. Fish on. Biggin.
Oh my God, guys, do you see?
Can there really be too much? I don't think so. So before we get this video started talking about all of this stuff, which is what the video is going to be about, and it's okay. I'm gonna tease something really quick. I'm gonna dig one out. I went on a freaking jig like tangent, and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna show you the different styles, and like I'm really excited about it because I'm all about, when I learn about something, I go crazy and like learn about a whole bunch of different aspects. So we're gonna get to that, but first, so I got something. So I want you guys to get something. So I'm gonna give away, but whoa, actually, hold on for a second. We're not giving this away in this video, but I want you guys to tune into the next few videos because what do I have here? We're in punching season. I have a Halo TI 711 extra heavy right here, totally new. All wrapped up, totally, dude, $250 rod. I'm going to be giving this away in the next few videos. So you are definitely going to want to tune in. This thing is bad to the bone. Sick punching rod. You can even throw a big spoon or like swim bait on it. So stay tuned. We are going to be giving that one away. But what are we giving away right now? As you guys know, I have Bass Attitude like merch and like wear. So I got these really cool shirts made up. Real fishing. They're like that blend, like poly cut. They're super soft, super comfy. I have this guy right here. It's this awesome kind of washed out red. So here's what I want you to do. What your favorite lure out of what we actually go through is and why. Or give me a tip on it. I'll take a tackle tip or a tackle technique, and I'm gonna pick somebody random down. You gotta drop it down in the comments box below. I'll pick somebody random from that to win a shirt.
Let's unbox.
So we are here from the Bass Cave, or actually just outside the Bass Cave. This is the Bass Boat House right here. I'm going to go through this stuff and tell you about what I got. We're going to run through some things quick because some of the things are kind of like standardized things. Some of the things are a little more interesting and they speak to what we're trying to learn about now with these jigs, and some more seasonal too. And let's start off with a couple seasonal things. You know, we're going into like this, actually it's already kind of happening, but frog season on Lake Guntersville. So one frog that I don't think gets enough credit are these guys, the Coppers Live Target. These are what size? 2 1/4, 5/8 ounce. I used to use these a lot down in the Everglades. Dude, they're super soft bodies. They walk really well, and I just think they get bit better, dude. I can walk them really well. They do tear up a bit, but I got a brown, let's see here, brown and black, which is this guy, and then a black and black, double black, because I like dark or kind of like bright colors, so that kind of covers both the gamuts. Because really, in the end, all you're actually looking at is the belly of the frog. So let me go ahead and pull this out and show you what I'm talking about. See how the belly's black like that? The other one's white. This one's got a little blue in the skirts back there. Another kind of crappy thing about these is if you leave them in a box too long, the tails do get like mushy, gooey. But I really like these frogs. They walk really well, and like I said, they're super soft. So really, when the fish bite them, they tend to hold on a little bit longer. Just a personal preference. Caught a lot of big fish in the Everglades and down on Lake Istapoga in Florida on them. What else do we got here? 8-pound sunline. Nice. Turn it the right way, Mikey. Fluorocarbon. I'm going to use this for leaders. I use it on my spinning stuff. I run braid on the back of everything, but I finally bought a bulk spool. Bought a bulk spool because I've been going through leader material a lot because I'm using it across like the 5 spinning rods that I have. So I got a little bigger one. Let's see here. I don't know if I'm going to get any video from this trip, but we're going to Lake Cumberland to try to catch some smallies, some largemouth, and some spots up in Kentucky with my buddy Donnie Bass. Going to be shooting video up there. We got some colored blade spinner baits. These guys are awesome in super clear water or semi-clear water. It seems like largemouth and smallmouth, like mixed fish fisheries. These things tend to play a role. They're 3/4 ounce because there is some deeper water and you're fishing bluffs, breaks. You're fishing a lot of deep water. You're gonna give these things a try. That was a Donnie Bass pick. Jacob Wheeler. How you doing, Jacob? Yeah, Jacob commented on one of my videos once. He thought I was actually like talking about him, and I wasn't. It was like the why YouTube hates, or why the fishing industry hates YouTube people like me, and he thought I was picking on him, but I wasn't. But he thought I was, whatever. So this is actually a buzz bait, but what's cool about it is we're going into fall. Fall's a lot of shad, a lot of potted up bait, and this is sort of a finesse buzz bait. It's a little bit lighter. I think it's 5/16 ounce, but it's a smaller blade. I'm finding on Guntersville that you don't need real giant baits to catch big fish. The fish get so pressured that downsizing, doing stuff a little more finesse, or going like super big is really the key. So buzz bait. Plus, it's something I need to learn how to throw. I used to throw it on Okeechobee quite a bit, but I kind of got away from that, so I need to relearn. We're going into fall. I'm going to be going to Smith Lake and doing some spotted bass fishing. We're also going to be doing some smallie fishing. One of the ways that I love to catch any of those is drop shotting, so I grab some robo worms. You can't beat it. Super soft. Really, all you need is the 6-inch and the 4-inch. You're covered. The other thing that's really cool too that I'm going to use for like drop shotting and stuff are these guys. I always use the stinger on like the Ned rig. I didn't know they made a 3-inch. So this is the 4-inch. Actually, let me get one out and we'll compare it. So that's the 4-inch, 3-inch. A super small bait. Look at that thing. That is cool, and it's still, that's that tail that I love. But you see the size difference just a little bit? Super compact. I can put that on a Ned. I can put that wacky on a little like a drop shot rig. Like, there's a lot of stuff I can do with that. I'm excited to play around with those small ones. I got a couple bags. There weren't a lot of colors available, and I'll put links to all this stuff at Tackle Warehouse down in the description box. But they only had a couple colors, so I think I got like a green pumpkin. What is this? Green pumpkin and black, which seems pretty cool. I got some watermelon red, and then I got some dark pumpkin, which look kind of cool too. So the other thing is fall. We talked about schooling fish. This is one of my favorite topwater baits. It's a blend of everything you could ever want. It's a gunfish by Lucky Craft. It's basically a spook and a popper. If they made a baby, that's what this would be. This thing walks like a spook but pops like a popper. Super subtle, easy to cast. You can make long distance casts. You'll notice too, it's a little bit smaller size. My buddy Walt from Halo, go back and watch some of the videos I shot with him. Walt's super cool. Big and big and big and Walt, stud, dude. Walt's super cool, and he's a stick on Guntersville. He mentioned to me that you don't always need to go super big with topwaters. I actually have the bigger gunfish. This is the best color too. It's the Ghost Shad, one of the best all-around colors as long as your water's halfway clear. But he talked about kind of downsizing, and it's that same principle we talked about just a minute ago, where these smaller baits, you're going to catch more fish, and the big ones are going to bite them because it's a pressured body of water. Plus, I can throw this on Smith. I can throw this for smallies, throw it at Cumberland maybe. So you guys are going to laugh at me because you guys are smarter than me and probably already know this. I'm digging around. This is a good example of it. So I love Magic Craw. I've been using these net bait chunks on the back of my finesse jigs a little bit. But I love Magic Craw, and I think it's one of like the colors you can use just about anywhere. Dude, when I was in Wisconsin, I noticed there were a lot of crayfish that were orange, even in super gin clear water. So I'm like, I need to get on that train. So I did grab some, I think these are Alabama Craw or Natural Craw, and then I grabbed some Alabama Craw. Basically, they're chunks that have some orange in it. I don't know how many crayfish there are. I know there's crayfish down in Alabama. I don't know how much they target them, but I definitely noticed when I was up north that crayfish are such a huge player. And it's something that I kind of forgot about. So having some orange or some diversity in color, because they seem to change color. They can be that green, blue kind of iridescent deal, but it seems like the other main color is like an orange or a red, and those are kind of the key colors to mimicking those crayfish on the backs of jigs. So also another thing from Wisconsin is I was fishing a tube jig a whole bunch, but I wanted like a weedless presentation. So if you guys have been watching YouTube and Instagram, this is something we used to do in Wisconsin a lot. You take one of these and you actually slide it inside the tube and use a Texas rig hook, slide the hook through there, and you get a weedless tube presentation. But I think reapplying it and trying it down here, I'm gonna need it as a weedless presentation though, with all the rocks and the grass. It might be something that's sort of like under the radar that could work. We are in punching season, and I will tell you, I have been forced to buy other bobber stoppers, these guys, to basically you stop your weight, your tungsten weight when you're punching. Every single other kind that I buy sucks. Like, totally sucks. These are the best. They're the 6 cents. They call them peg X stoppers. They're bobber stoppers, whatever. Here's the key with them. They're a little bit bigger than your standard bobber stopper, so they'll stop. I use the Hogtech tungsten, but dude, some weights don't have inserts. Some weights have bigger bore-dot holes. They will stop any weight that you have, any tungsten weight. And the other trick is they're not going to get wedged in the line hole. Some of the stoppers, they'll stop the weight, but they'll actually get wedged inside your tungsten, your like tungsten line hole. It's so annoying. These things are big enough. They're perfect. They're a great price point. You want these. If you're punching, get the 610. So here's where we get to the part where I'm learning. I kind of went on a tangent, dude, and spent a whole bunch of money. I'm sure you guys can relate to that. But I've been making these jig skirts, and I bought some more skirt material. I mentioned I was going to get some like white smoke stuff. This is that Skirts Unlimited stuff. I got some crazy like blue iridescent awesome looking stuff. See how it changes color? Like, I love that kind of stuff. So that actually kind of inspired me to think about like, what do I not know about jigs? You know, down in Florida we throw some jigs. We throw that double weed guard jig, throw a swim jig down there quite a bit. I throw a lot of like football jigs on my structure, my deep water lakes in Florida. But you know, when it comes down to it, wood fishing, rock fishing, and all this just different kind of jig stuff, the Ned jig kind of got me thinking about it. I haven't experimented enough with different head styles and different types of jigs. And really, there is like a perfect jig for every situation. I know JT makes like a Nichols JT Kenny Grass Wizard jig made specifically for fishing grass. Like, don't fish this jig in wood. And a lot of it has to do with line tie, head shape. Those are like your two biggest keys. Obviously, hook size and diameter is going to play a role, but the line tie and the way that head is shaped really defines what you're going to do with the jig. So I'm like, you know what, dude? I need to go crazy, but I want to combine my jig skirt making with my jig. So I went on Tackle Warehouse, and I want to save some dollars. This is a good way to save money. If you go and buy like a packaged skirted jig, it's like friggin' $4 for like a decent jig, like a Dirty Jigs or something like that. So I wanted to just get the components so I could have more jig heads and make my own skirts, since I already invested in the skirt maker and all the skirt material. So what I did is I went and bought a bunch of packs of Boss jig heads, all different kinds. So we're going to run through real quick all these different kinds that I got. And I'm talking like I got like 6 or 7 of them. And I think they're going to cover me from fishing wood to fishing grass to fishing structure and even just some weird quirky stuff. So let's start with this one right here. Basically, this one is kind of a funky head. I got these in 3/8 ounce. This is a lot like the jig heads that I use when I'm fishing, like kind of like a magnet, like down in the cane. What's really cool about these though, see how it's like a flat bottom? So it's actually going to sit, if you can see, up like that. It's going to stand slightly on the bottom. This does have a direct line tie. What I like about this is the line tie is almost integrated into the head. You can see right there. So it'll come pretty clean through wood in that. It's also an upward line tie, which is also better for wood. If you're fishing grass, you want a vertical line tie, but this is a horizontal line tie. Pretty stout hook on there. I'm a little concerned with that with fluorocarbon, but I think this is something I'm going to be throwing around medium to like heavier cover wood, big rocks and stuff like that, and hopping it down. But I really like the stand-up feature of it. And like I said, like I got 4 in a pack for like I think $5.99 or $4.99. And dude, I can put skirts on all of them. That's like having that's 4 jigs for freaking nothing. Like nothing. And these are stout, like quality, like component products. All right, let me see what else. What other style heads we got? Oh, this one's pretty cool. So this is another thing that I don't know much about. And that's like skipping. Now, this as well can be used as a wood jig. You can see it has pretty much the same line tie. It also has that flat bottom there, but it's a little more compact. She's gonna stand just like that. See how the hook's 45'd as well? So this is going to be interesting because I think I can actually take this and skip it under the docks, but it's going to fall, whereas the other one's going to fall like this, the one I just showed you. This one, since the hook's at a 45, it's going to fall more like this, which I think is a little more natural. So this will be a good skipping jig as well as a wood or cover jig, but just something to, you know, experiment with. Once again, the price point's super low. I got a 7/16 in that size, but the price point's super low, and then I can go and put a bunch of skirts on and save a bunch of money. I did get a bunch. I'm not even going to open these because you guys know these are standard football jigs. Simple, you know, but you get 1, 2, 3 in this pack. These are 3/4 ounce. I got 4 of them, 3/4 ounce. I can put skirts on them, but it's a standard football jig. It's a kind of a standard wire hook. It's not a super duper thick one. But what's cool with these too, and I think a lot of guys forget about them, is if you don't want that brush guard on there, you can just cut it off. Like, all these jigs come with brush guards, but it doesn't mean they need to stay on there. I'm gonna leave them on there for the most part, but it's totally modifiable. Do whatever you want. You don't even have to put a skirt on these. It's another thing that I've kind of learned about a little bit, and we used to do it on Okeechobee quite a bit, is we'd actually just use the jigs because the jig was the correct head for fishing the type of grass that we were targeting, whether it was pads or, you know, Kissimmee grass or maiden cane. And really, the head made all the difference. You didn't need to put a skirt on it, but you get that nice stout hook, you get your brush guard, and you can basically just run a jig naked. We do it with swim jigs a lot during the shad spawn because they'll miss that big bulky skirt. And you just put like a little easy swimmer on there or a little easy and freaking put it on a swim jig and sling it out there. So the last football that I'm going to show, I'm going to open this up because I want you to see it. I can't take full credit for this. My buddy Justin Lynch out on Lake Guntersville, he's an absolute stick out there. He was kind of teaching me about a few things, and I actually was out there with him, and he totally took me to school on a stand-up jig. This is basically a football jig, but like some of those earlier jigs I showed you, it has a flat bottom. So that hook is at a 45 in there, and it has a flat bottom. My hand is not being very cooperative, but you see how it stands? Just like that. So you get a different presentation when sitting on the bottom. FYI, it's not always going to sit on the bottom like that. You really need to kind of like have your line semi-taut but not like tight in order for it to stand correctly. Otherwise, if you pull, it does kick back. So when you're fishing these, you want to throw them out and you want to give them kind of just semi-slack. It's almost like net head fishing, and then they're going to get that full potential in standing. You might have to drag them a few times to set them right, but it does make a difference when you have finicky fish or you're fishing a small piece of structure and you really want to present that bait in an upright, kind of lifted off the bottom sort of look. Plus, they actually swim different when you drag them because they go kind of like a net head. But it can make a difference. Literally, man, I got my butt schooled out on Lake Guntersville. He was fishing a stand-up jig. I was fishing like a standard ball jig, and that different presentation made all the difference. Same deal once again. You get a bunch of them in the packs, and I'm gonna throw some skirts on those and make up some kind of cool finesse jigs, as well as some bulkier kind of style football jigs. Back to one more rando thing. If you guys are drop shotting this time of year, I know there's a big smallie bite up north. Smallie start biting down here. Spotted bass. Some of the best drop shot weights you can get are these West Coast quick drops. Like, dude, they're super duper cheap. They're super high quality. They're perfect for any drop shotting application. In general, now I know there are slight, you know, changes and tweaks. In general, this teardrop shape is the best all around style drop shot weight that you can use. Just like that. It rides through grass, it rides through rock, it rides through wood. It's not perfect. Sometimes you want to use like a cylindrical one on rock and stuff like that. But if you're only going to carry one drop shot weight with you, this is the one that you want to have. Trust me. And they're super cheap, dude. You can't go wrong with that. Well, my homies, that's a wrap on this unboxing. Definitely, like I said, you guys want a free shirt? Real fishing, Bass Attitude Fishing, just like the mikeybalzz hats. Or if you want one of these hats, I have links to them down in the description box at Bass Attitude Fishing. But if you want to win a shirt just like this one, go ahead and drop down in the comments box what's your favorite lure out of what I unboxed, or a tackle tip. Tell me something maybe about the jigs that we talked about, or maybe another jig style that I need to look at as I go through this process of like learning about some different jig head styles and where to throw them, what kind of cover to throw them on, how to use them, you know, when's the best time to use them, because it's all a process for me, and you guys have been great in helping me through this process, this transition into fishing up in Alabama, fishing multi-species. It's been awesome. But try to win yourself a shirt, drop it down in the comments box. We're gonna wrap this video up. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you guys for supporting the channel, and we'll see you back out on the water fishing. I love fishing, don't you? Peace.